In recent years, Red Bull and Ferrari have been two of the most successful teams, frequently placed at the top. Yet, some experts and fans are debating if their success results from taking advantage of legal loopholes. Some argue that the teams have been using creative interpretations of the regulations to gain an advantage over their rivals. But others say that this is just part of the game, and that all teams try to find ways to push the boundaries. So what's the truth? Are Red Bull and Ferrari exploiting the rules? Join us as we explore this topic and hear from experts on both sides of the debate. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Formula One content. Firstly, we must learn about these two racing teams. Let's start with Ferrari. Ferrari has a long history in Formula One, having been involved from the start in 1950. The team is the most successful in F1 history, having won 16 Constructors' Championships and 15 Drivers' Championships. Moving on to Red Bull. The company first entered F1 in 2005 after buying the Jaguar racing team. Since then, Red Bull has become one of the most successful and popular teams in the history of F1 racing. Red Bull dominated the sport from 2010 to 2013, winning 4 consecutive Constructors' Championships and 4 consecutive Drivers' Championships with Sebastian Vettel. The team won 38 Grand Prix races and set numerous records during this time. They won a total of 63 races, 4 Constructors' Championships, and 4 Drivers' Championships. The team has a reputation for innovation and for taking risks in their car designs, and they have been responsible for many of the technical innovations that have shaped the modern Formula One. Racing in Formula One is a highly regulated sport with stringent rules and guidelines in place to guarantee team safety, fairness, and competition. These rules encompass all aspects of racing, including the way racers and team members conduct themselves during races, as well as the design and building of the cars. The FIA, the sport's governing body, develops and enforces F1 regulations. They usually don't give any chances to teams that try to defraud or break the rules, regardless of how popular the team is. As an illustration, in 2005, BAAR was disqualified for 2 races after it was discovered that the team had a second fuel tank that allowed the vehicle to run underweight. Tyrrell's use of an additional water tank led to his disqualification from the 1984 world title as well. Do you know that one of the most significant disqualifications in F1 history came in the 2007 season? McLaren was found to have used confidential technical information belonging to their rivals, Ferrari. The information was obtained by a McLaren engineer who had previously worked for Ferrari. The scandal, which became known as Spygate, resulted in McLaren being fined $100 million and being excluded from the 2007 Constructors' Championship. The team also lost all their Constructors' points for that season. The question now is, why do the teams do these things? One thing you should know is that all F1 teams are continuously seeking methods to gain a competitive advantage, and pushing the limits of the regulations is part of that process. Yet, Red Bull and Ferrari are making headlines because they frequently test their limits to gain an advantage over their competitors. That's the reason they were accused. For instance, Red Bull has been criticized in the 2010 season for the design of its car's front wing. Flexi wings are designed to bend under aerodynamic loads, which can improve a car's performance by reducing drag and increasing speed. However, they are subject to strict regulations that limit the amount of flex allowed. Some experts have accused Red Bull of exploiting the rules by designing wings that flex more than what is allowed. In the 2013 season, Red Bull was again accused of using flexi wings. In the 2021 season, Red Bull once again found itself in the center of a flexi wing controversy. The team's rear wing was found to be flexing more than what was allowed under regulations. In 2021, the FIA introduced new tests to check for flexible wings, and Red Bull was one of several teams that were found to be in breach of the regulations. The team was required to modify their wings to comply with the rules, but there are still concerns that they may be finding ways to exploit the rules. There are also allegations that Red Bull used a high-rake design to take advantage of a rule loophole that allows teams to generate extra downforce from the car's floor. Red Bull has denied these allegations, claiming that they have simply been more successful than its competitors in developing cars within the rules. However, the team's use of flexible wings and high-rake designs has sparked controversy. Similarly, right after the Spygate incident, Ferrari got embroiled in another issue during the Brazilian Grand Prix during the 2007 season. The team was discovered to have utilized an illegal fuel thermostat device, giving them a performance edge. The company was penalized $100,000, but the race results were upheld. Ferrari was again embroiled in a debate regarding engine performance during the 2019 season. The team's engine was discovered to be creating more power than was permitted by the regulations, prompting competing teams to accuse them of cheating. The FIA conducted an investigation and settled with Ferrari. The details of the settlement were not disclosed, leading to further criticism and suspicion from rival teams. Another area of controversy has been Ferrari's use of team orders. Team orders are instructions given by a team to its drivers to prioritize one driver over another, either to secure a race win or to maximize the team's points. While team orders are not explicitly banned by the rules, there have been accusations that Ferrari has been using them to manipulate race outcomes and gain an unfair advantage. These controversies are quite common in Formula One. Ferrari appears to be planning to take advantage of an F1 loophole in a spectacular push to close the gap on Red Bull in 2023. According to reports, Scuderia's next machine will be 3 kilograms lighter than the 2022 model. Nonetheless, as per the regulations, this will result in the car being lighter than the minimum weight limit of 796 kilograms for F1. However, it will be guaranteed that the automobile meets the minimal race criteria while not carrying needless extra. Yet, the method is hazardous because teams could be penalized if the FIA discovers a car that is below the minimal limitations. Intriguing fact: Ferrari and Red Bull made an impression in the first 2 free practice sessions of the Bahrain Grand Prix, but they didn't display everything. The Ferrari SF23 and Red Bull RB19 have both been spotted with extremely low ride heights. To increase the load generated, the floor is situated at a height from the ground that is roughly 5 millimeters lower than the competing automobile when stationary. There is a rumor that Red Bull was forced to raise the RB19 floor because the bumps on the bitumen would have affected excessive wear on the plank, possibly having to wear the plank to a nominal thickness relatively low than the permitted amount, but also potentially damaging the carbon surface and having consequences on the mechanical parts inside. Red Bull's choice to go with ride heights around 5 millimeters lower than its competitors appears to have been maintained, and Ferrari appears to have agreed in principle. The investigation of any destruction to the floor of Leclerc's car by the Scuderia mechanics after the first stint of Free Practice 2 produced a luckily negative result. So, are Red Bull and Ferrari exploiting the rules? It's a difficult question to answer definitively. On one hand, both teams have been accused of pushing the limits of what is allowed within the regulations. On the other hand, the regulations are complex and open to interpretation, and it's not always clear what is allowed and what isn't. What is clear, however, is that the FIA is taking steps to ensure that teams are playing by the rules. The recent technical directive aimed at Ferrari shows that the FIA is committed to enforcing the regulations and ensuring that all teams are competing on a level playing field. In conclusion, the issue of whether Red Bull and Ferrari are exploiting the rules is a complex one, and there are valid arguments on both sides. However, it's important to remember that the FIA is constantly monitoring the sport and taking action to ensure that all teams are playing by the rules. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more F1 content.